You've got too much inventory at Amazon, but what do you do to solve the problem? Or how do you even decide how big of a problem is it? That 365-day mark's coming up. You might be paying extra fees if you keep your inventory at FBA. My name is Stephen Pope, and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. So first things first, you should go into your inventory dashboard, because in here, not only can you see things like your IPI score, which clearly tells you how you're doing. If you're in the green, great. If you're in that red, man, that is going to be a death cycle of your account. And it's a death sentence if you go too low, because then Amazon starts to restrict your inventory, your storage capacities, and much more. Right? Okay, so what was really interesting to me is when I started reviewing this today, and they do have some new release notes. You can see here how to customize your page metrics and group products with similar inventory behaviors and view more products per page, stuff like that. They do have some of that stuff in here as you kind of poke around and click on things. But by and large, it's really easy to figure out where your excess inventory is, because you can see it right here, reduce excess inventory. There's a button you can click there. There's a button right there that says I've got 3,500 units in excess inventory. Even though I've got a great IPI at 492, I'm doing a lot of good things. There are some things that are getting eerily close to that 365 days of inventory, and there's a problem, and I've got to take action immediately. So let's go in and just click on this to see what we can find and learn about for our products. So first things first, they're going to rank this in order of magnitude. And so on this particular item, I have 564 units available. And if you look at my sell-through, there's actually a nice goose egg right there. That's a terrible thing to have. This is a great product. I just lowered my price from $26 to $15 because I'm so worried about the maximum inventory. This one snuck up on me. I have so many other products I'm focused on right now, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just didn't even pay attention to this. And all of a sudden, I've got 500 units just sitting there and nothing is moving, and I'm paying storage fees, and it's just a disaster, right? First thing you should do, discount the cost down. Get some inventory moving and turning. That is the very first action. That takes 5 seconds to do it. You can even lower it right here on this page right there. You can set up a sale. You can set up a coupon. There's all kinds of things you can do to just simply lower the price. If that doesn't do it by itself, it's probably because you're not advertising the product enough. The SEO's got a problem. You don't have the right designs. The main image needs to be redone, and the list goes on. But with this in mind, if we look at this, 564 available, how many of those are problematic? Well, 548 of them have an inventory that have been sitting more than 90 days with 0 units being sold. Clearly, this is a problem. Clearly, something needs to be done about it. All right, so lowering your price, advertising, SEO, all that good stuff. You've tried all that. What's next? The next thing you need to do is probably create a removal order. Go over into Seller Central, look up the product in question, and on the far right-hand side, you can click on this little drop-down right there and click on Create Removal Order. On this page, you'll notice they have multiple ways to remove your inventory. You can use a liquidation, which can sometimes get you 5 or 10% of the value of the selling price back. I haven't had a lot of success with this, but it could be category dependent. The next thing you do is hit return to address, just ship it right back to your warehouse, or quite frankly, hit dispose. Each of these does have a cost involved. If you hit dispose, they're gonna charge you anywhere from 10 cents to $1, depending, on the size of the item. So an item like this, I'm gonna guess, is probably around 25-30 cents. You can come in here and select the number of units to remove. Sometimes you'll have a bug where it says some inventory is not available for removal. That will require a ticket where you ask Amazon to make all of that inventory available for removal. And it could be because they're doing an FC transfer, a fulfillment center transfer, or another problem that could be available there. Sometimes there's inventory stuck in unfulfillable, and this is like inventory that's just like stuck, it's stranded, it's got a problem with it, it might not be available for resale. You can also remove that inventory there. There's also a donations program that's available, and you can find this on your FBA settings, and you just click on edit here to go into that. Here, there's an enabled status, enabled or disabled, and you can decide whether to donate inventory when you hit the removal. Generally, when talking about IPI, this is ranked in order of excess inventory, sell-through, stranded, in stock. And generally, more people have trouble with the top 2 metrics, and these have a higher impact when you're trying to talk about your IPI score. So getting rid of excess inventory really should be one of the main focal points. You should have a 90-day exercise. Every 90 days, reviewing your excess inventory, put it on your calendar as a reoccurring instance, and even call it the My Amazon Guy 90-day review, right? Like go through and look at your excess inventory and decide what actions to take, because although your FBA storage fees might only be $940 a month or 1% of your FBA sales or something like that, this stuff does add up and it can sneak up on you. And if you're right around that 450 IPI mark and you dip below that, you won't have unlimited storage going into Q4 with Christmas rushes, and the problems can stack in a I don't know what word I'm looking for, but they get worse. Another big thing to keep in mind is that they started automatically removing aged inventory. This started back in April, and if you go above 180 days or 365 days, they will consecutively remove that inventory. So just keep that in mind. You got to be paying attention to this, because maybe you overstocked in June going into that Christmas rush, and all of a sudden they're doing removal orders right when you got the Christmas rush. That's not exactly something you want. You might need to disable that, for example. The nice thing about this report, though, is it does give you your inventory age by SKU. You can download some Excel files to see some further information, but this tells you like, hey, this is a big batch of inventory, 548, right in that 90-day, 180-day standpoint. Other products could be above 365. Look at this particular SKU. This SKU has 35 units that have been there over a year. Now, one of the things that is a little frustrating is trying to understand what your actual long-term storage fees will be. So this is, I think this is a monthly fee, estimated number of units that will be subject to long-term storage fees on your next charge date, assuming no further sales. It's a little confusing. We'll probably dive in here and see if we can decipher this a little bit, but I suspect this is a fee charged every month over that. Let's see what, oh, nice. The link to this has got an error on the display page. All right. Nice try, Amazon. Thank you, seller support. You're so awesome. But lower your price when you've got overstock, then do liquidations, removal IDs, stuff like that. Donate it to charity. Try and move the inventory, and sometimes you just have to let go of those old items that just aren't working anymore. And sometimes I'll have one of the best. I had my social distancing wine glass. I sold 10,000 units of this particular glass. Then it got banned from ads, and all of a sudden I'm sitting on all this excess inventory, and I just had to slowly sell it out and let it go. And it just happens, guys. It just happens. It's just not a fun thing to experience, but you sometimes do have to let products go. Be married to your business, but don't be married to the products. Best advice I'll give you today. Let me know in the comment section if you found this helpful. If you find any other help files or questions about inventory, ask away. We'll see you soon.